And what's up? All right, guys, what I want to talk about real quick is just I'm gonna talk about a topic that is very sensitive in the gaming community, and that is controller versus mouse and keyboard. People don't like talking about this. I've tried bringing on numerous people on to have a little debate and talk, and a lot of people just were not about it. They were like, "No, that's a little sensitive topic." I had one guy that was willing to talk, and everybody else was just like, "No." They're like, "It's not a debate, whatever." They're just doing the things, and there's just a lot of sensitivity on those topics. So I'm just gonna voice my opinions on it, man. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, and I've been kind of neglecting. So I'm just gonna like forget it. I'm just gonna start producing like little tiny mini podcasts of me talking about little stuff, you know. So this is the first one. All right. So mouse and controller, or sorry, mouse and keyboard, and then controller gameplay, console, PC, all that stuff. So what I want to talk about right now, is I saw an article on Facebook, and the article said that it said that you know, Xbox players are better skill wise than PC and PS4 players, right? It said the order was Xbox, PC, and then PS4. And I was like, I disagree. And it's now, you could say I have a biased opinion because I come from a PC community, but I was a part of the console community since the end of Halo 2. Well before that, the competitive scene of console gaming from the end of Halo 2 and on. I've been a part of like competitive gaming. What I mean by the competitive scene, meaning like tournaments, online tournaments, LANs with professional players. Part of the professional scene, talking to people that are part of there, to finding out, you know, what their thoughts are on and things, and then also just playing with some of the top players in the community, knowing who the top players are, where people add up, controller, keyboard, mouse, all that kind of stuff, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I played on the console my entire life, and over the past like 3 years, I made the transition to the PC, and I can't go back to the console, man. I can't. Like, it's too slow. It's too slow. I feel limited, and this is what I mean. Is before we get onto the full topic, I want to talk about something really quick, okay? Just so we have a base understanding here. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna talk about what skill gap is. Excuse my handwriting because it's kind of terrible. I'm on a mouse and keyboard. Not that it's any better anywhere else. That don't even fucking. Bleh. That's supposed to be an I. That's an L. Skill. And we're gonna talk skill roof. Okay. Or skill like ceiling. That's terrible fucking handwriting. But you guys know what I mean, man. Okay. So what skill gap is? The skill gap is the gap in which someone is a brand new player and how quick that they can learn how to be an okay player, an average player, to be your average player, right? And then and let's say like that gap is like right here for like console gaming, right? This is like, say like this is the bottom line. This is like everybody starts out. This is the gap in which console gamers can learn how to be there, right? And say this is PC. PC is going to be like up there, right? I don't have numbers to give you things. I'm just giving you concepts and ideas here, okay? It's easier to learn how to play on controller than it is to learn on mouse and keyboard. It's a lot harder to learn mouse and keyboard than it is on controller. It's very easy to pick it up and play on it. Then as you go to skill roof is the potential in which someone can reach their full potential and reach the top tier play. Like, you got the top tier, you're one of the best, like you can't go any more. That's your roof, right? Well, if we were to I'm gonna put that over here. I can put it on this side. So here would be, let's say, controller there, PC again is gonna be here. So when you look at it on this kind of line here, put a little red up there so you guys know what I'm that this is the skill roof. So like the potential in which someone can be good, let's just say PC's up there, controller's still going to be down, like it's still going to hold people back a little bit. Now, these aren't always true in most cases, to a degree, meaning like the game, it can change varied on you know, depending on the game and stuff like that. But this is the general idea. It's easier to learn controller than it is mouse and keyboard. That you can't argue that. And there's a higher skill roof in which someone can be good at when talking controller and talking mouse and keyboard. You can't argue that either. The thing with mouse and keyboard is I can literally, like, I'm aiming with my hand, I can be more precise. For example, there's no aim, there's not really any aim assist when it comes to the PC games. When you play PC games like Fortnite, Destiny, I mean, you're always gonna have a little bit of something in most, but like Counter-Strike, right? There's no aim assist in Counter-Strike. You either your dots on them or it's not on them, right? Or you go to like Overwatch, either your dots on them or it's not on them, right? So like PUBG, those kind of games. So you need aim assist on a game, or I mean, you don't need it. So you don't need as much aim assist on mouse and keyboard. But then when you go to the controller, you have to have aim assist in order to play. There's a reason why when you look at the Counter-Strike with the CS:GO tournaments, that nobody plays controller. There's not one person that plays controller on CS:GO. Why is that? Because there's no aim assist, so therefore they can't compete at that level. Well, imagine now that you can't compete at that level. Now imagine adding aim assist to CS:GO for PC players, right? Imagine how good that they'll start to become. You actually lower the skill roof when you do something like that, but imagine how good they'll start to become. You're telling me that you get aim assist, so now if there's a slight hair off where they would have missed before, it'll count as a hit now. That makes the game easier to play. It lowers the skill gap, lowers the skill roof. It lowers the skill in the competitive scene. Like it kills it is what it does. And that's kind of where you've seen with Destiny has kind of gone that route. Destiny has chosen to bring aim assist into the PC game, which I completely understand why. But when you want to talk as far as like competitive or serious gameplay, I think it's very, I think it's bad. I think it's very, very bad. And it's like, the thing is, when you're playing another person, when you're playing Destiny and one person has controller and one person has mouse and keyboard, I'm not saying the mouse and keyboard should win every time. No, I'm not saying that, because not everybody's the same skill. Somebody who puts a lot of time into playing the game on a controller and somebody who puts time on mouse and keyboard, well, the controller's going to beat them. They should beat them. Map positioning, awareness, right? Aim is still going to be a thing, but all that stuff plays a factor when being good at a game. But the issue that I have is it's not the same equipment. So for example, when you're on the mouse and keyboard, like, you can't afford to miss a shot. You can't do certain things. You have to aim differently. You're using a mouse and keyboard. You have to be way more precise. It is harder on mouse and keyboard to make certain plays, whereas the controller, it is easier to make certain plays. You can't dispute that. That is facts. It is easier because it's on a controller. It's on a controller. You have aim assist, and it's easier to maintain your shots. It's harder to do things on mouse and keyboard. Now, the skill roof, like we talked about here, the skill roof is higher. Therefore, if somebody puts a lot of time into their craft at getting better at the mouse and keyboard, that they will be able to perform better and make greater plays, okay? But there's more of a potential that they may fuck up. They may miss their aim. They may, all that stuff. They're going to have a little bit more inconsistency on the mouse and keyboard because the skill roof is so high. You get on one day, you're a little bit tired, you've been gaming for 12 hours, if you're a streamer, you've been on for a long time, or 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever your threshold is, or you just like, dude, you're just not feeling on point, like you're a little tired. Sometimes we just have our days, right? Well, it's like you won't be able to like have certain games. And console will have that as well, controller will have that as well, but it's going to be more great at the mouse and keyboard simply because the skill roof is higher. You have the, like, it takes a lot more skill to be good at the PC at mouse and keyboard than it is controller. Now, I know some people will play controller on console, and that's kind of frowned upon. That's not right. I think that's cheesy. That's taking advantage of people. Like, I know some people do that on the PS4, and I'm like, that's just, dude. Now you have aim assist and a fucking mouse. And I know some people will do that on like Destiny. They'll run like a Zim and something like that. I'm like, that gives you so much aim assist. In fact, on Destiny, there's more aim assist on PC running a Zim and a controller than there is for just playing on the console, and it's true. Now, most people get upset and they'll be like, "Oh, well, why don't you put on the controller or make the same plays?" Well, obviously, if I pick a controller up, I'm not going to do nearly as good. I don't play with a controller. I don't do anything with that. I'm not going to be able to do that. In fact, what I would like to see is some of these people pick up a mouse and keyboard and then go make some of those plays with it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We're just talking facts here. It's like, look, at the end of the day, and this is the thing, I know someone's going to want to comment in the comments here. At the end of the day, if you enjoy playing if you just play casually, you just enjoy playing, you're like, hey, look, I'm just getting on the PC. I want to play with my friends play the PC, and I don't want to learn mouse and keyboard, and I'm making the transition into the gaming community, the PC community, and I'm using the controller for the time being, then I understand that. But if you play for a long time, and you consider yourself a top player, and you're on PC using controller, I personally think that's wrong. I have some friends that do it, and I'm not attacking you. I'm voicing my opinion. I think that's wrong. Okay, it's okay to have disagreements in life and not hate each other. Okay, I just think that's wrong. That's my personal thought on it. Now, this doesn't mean that controller players can't be good. Some people say that. It doesn't mean that they can't be good. There are plenty of good controller players out there. There are plenty of them. Okay. There's also plenty of good PC players, plenty of good controller players, but the fact remains that the skill gap is lower on the controller. It's easier to learn, and the skill roof is going to be higher on PC mouse and keyboard. You have a lot more potential in which you can be good. And like we said, the big argument is when it comes to the aim assist. Like I said, in order for controller to be effective, you have to have aim assist. Imagine eliminating all aim assists from controller and you trying to play a game. It would suck. In fact, you want to know what that sounds like? That sounds like PUBG when it first released for the console. Why did everybody hate it? Because, well, it had no aim assist. Nobody could aim. Everybody had trouble shooting. They're sitting like 5 feet from each other, missing 1,000 shots, and that's because you cannot aim as precise, because you have like an inch to inch and a half of movement with your analog stick. Whereas if you had, I can't remember what it's called, but the extended sticks that people are using now, it gives you a little bit more. So that increases the skill roof a little bit, right? But you still can only aim so effectively with your thumb. Whereas I have my entire, as you guys see on here, my entire like mouse and keyboard. That's huge. I have an entire desk in which I can be precise with. There's a lot more. And when you talk keyboard, I have so many more options and layouts that I can set up where I can hit different things, and I have 5 different fingers that I can hit stuff and all that. Whereas you're kind of limited in what you can do, and that's why the Elite controller came out with the paddles, is because now it allows your back fingers to be accessible, whereas it used to not be that. It used to just be this. Think about like some of the original Nintendo games. It just had A and B in the D-pad, and that's all you had, A and B and D-pad. Well, the skill gap is very limited when you do that. Then all of a sudden they started adding top paddles. Now you had left and right on the top, and then A and D, and then things started opening up. Now you had 4 buttons, right? And then you had 4 buttons, and you could push the analog sticks in. Then you had 2 joysticks, and that. So now you're like, man, now I've got a lot of stuff. And then you had the paddle, so it evolved, and it's going to keep evolving, and more things are going to come out. And as it keeps evolving, it's going to increase the skill roof every time when a controller adds something like that. But it's still going to be limited. It's still not going to be able to reach the full potential as a mouse and keyboard. Now, it'll get close. It just won't reach the full potential. That's just how it is. Now, when you want to talk about Xbox and PC and which one's better and all that, here's the truth that you have to look at. Okay, the truth is that there's going to be a lot more people playing on the console than playing on PC because of the investment that needs to be made. So therefore, people that are going to be playing on PC typically are going to be making more of a commitment to their gaming. So they're going to be a little bit better. Not all of them. They're going to be a little bit better. Where it's more likely on the console that you're going to run into potatoes, like bad players. That's just, you're going to, like, that's just what it is, and it's okay. It's more likely you're going to run into that. Therefore, it's more likely you're going to make greater plays or have a higher kill death ratio, win more games, all that kind of stuff, right? Less like you're gonna run into other top players, all that kind of stuff is gonna be a thing. For example, let's look at Destiny. Okay, so you look at some of these guys that play Destiny. I love Destiny, but this is the truth here, man. Okay, some of these guys that play Destiny, they're really good fucking players. They're really good players. I'm telling you, they're fucking sick players. 10 times, 100 times better than I am. Okay, but the thing is, how many people actually play Destiny? Let's be real, like. Where are all the top players going right now? Where are all the top players going? The top players are playing where the money's at, Fortnite. They're going and playing these other games that bring in more money. What's Shroud playing? Is Shroud playing Destiny? What would happen if Shroud picked up Destiny and played? Only give him a couple months. Once he figures out the mechanics, dude's going to be considered a top player off the bat because of his hand-eye coordination, his knowledge, intelligence of gaming. Dude's going to annihilate the scene. Ninja, same thing, annihilate the scene. They're going to be literally considered one of the top 5 players in the game, without a doubt, right off the bat. I mean, you saw Summit pick the game up, and I'll tell you what, Summit made 1,000 fucking potato plays playing Destiny. But I'll tell you what, that dude hit some of the nutty freaking snipe shots ever. I was like, holy shit, this guy could fucking snipe, man. I was like, god damn. You put more time in. If he were to put more time into the game, then he'll see, you know, he'll get the experience, and then he's gonna trump a lot of these bad players. But it's like this. I mean, like, look at the NFL. Okay, you look at the NFL. You take some of these NFL players, and then I don't remember what it's called, but that the one, there's like another football league that's up in Canada or something. The AFL. Right, it's like, so you look at that, like, take some of these NFL players, these top NFL players, and put them in the AFL, or they're gonna fucking annihilate the scene. You go take like Peyton Manning and put him in the AFL, he's gonna fucking destroy everybody. You take like Ezekiel Elliott, you take some of these other like top running backs and or top wide receivers or linebackers, they're gonna destroy these other leagues. It's just not fair. Right, is the skill gap is much different. Like they're better players are gonna play other games. Right, or they're going to play in the area where there's more money and more potential to get popular in, right? So the people that are playing Destiny are not really that good. The population is very small, and the good players aren't playing. I mean, the good players themselves, like some of the top players in Destiny, they're not even playing. They come back, and like right away as they come back, they shit on everybody, and then they leave again, right? So you end up taking, but when they stay away, what ends up happening is some of these unknown guys that are not being that are not as popular, they get recognized and they shine some light on that hey, that guy's not that bad. And then the good guys come back and they crap on him. They destroy him. They shit on him. And all of a sudden he's like, oh man, I'm not good at the game at all. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, you're not bad, but you're just not at the level of some of these top players. That's just where it's at. You're not at the level some of these top players are at. And the thing is you're getting light shined on you simply because, I'm not being a naysayer either, I'm just speaking truth, simply because these top players are not playing, man. Like, run into people like Walla. Walla doesn't play Destiny anymore, right? But like, run into him in Destiny and he shits on your face. But he's not playing that game because the game has a lot of issues. He doesn't enjoy it, so he's going and playing other games like Overwatch. They're gonna draw a lot more attention to him, right? Look at like Sir D. Sir D is one of the top Destiny players. Doesn't play Destiny anymore. He just doesn't play the game. In fact, I think he uninstalled it. But he doesn't even play the game. But where's he at right now? He's at Fortnite. There's more money to be made, and he's killing the Fortnite scene, right? So all these good players are not playing that game, playing that certain game anymore. You know what I mean? So of course people are gonna be better on console. Not better, but will look better on console. Stat-wise, they will look better, but they're actually not better on console. They will look better simply because the population is less skilled, and there's a lot more chances to run into potatoes, and it's a lot easier to hit your skill gap right here. Whereas you get on the PC, it's going to take longer to hit your skill gap, to hit your average line, and then your potential in which you can get really good for freaking mouse and keyboard is like insane. So you're going to run into some guys that are just going to be like borderline, that guy's hacking. Like, that's what's going to happen. You'll be like, that dude's hacking. There's no way. That guy's hacking. And it's like, I mean, he very well could be, but chances are he's probably not. Chances are he's probably just really fucking sick. Like, he's really good. And you haven't experienced people like that before because you're too busy playing these low-end players, and you're not used to playing somebody who's just really freaking good and hitting insane shots, you know. So that's my rant on it. When you play with controller, like at the end of the day, if you like playing, you know, play whatever you want to play. But the truth remains that if you play on controller and you play on mouse and keyboard, that mouse and keyboard skill roof is going to be a lot higher than controller. It is easier to play on controller. It is easier to get decent at controller, to become an average player at controller, than it is to become an average player on mouse and keyboard. No matter what, a good player in any of the games, anybody that puts their time into any game becomes a good player. I truly believe, like, you're going to be, like, if a good controller player picks up a mouse and keyboard, you're going to do fine on it. You've got the map awareness, the map positioning. Your hand-eye coordination is already really good anyways. It's just now muscle memory. You're just going to develop muscle memory to learn where your fingers hit and do certain things. But like I said, you have a lot more potential to play faster and just do more on controller and do that. So that's my little talk on it. That's my little debate on it. If you guys have any comments, please comment them down below. Look, I know it's gonna hit a lot of negative feedback by some people, and look, these are just my opinions, man. All right. At the end of the day, look, if you enjoy the game and you want to play console, and you enjoy the game and you want to play controller on PC, then whatever, dude. What am I gonna do about it? I can't fix it, right? I'm gonna play mouse and keyboard simply because I love the ability to be able to play faster, and to be able to do more, But pros and cons, and to each their own, So hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.